How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Lots to talk about here today on the show, both pro wrestling and, yes, some mixed martial arts news here today, including the apparent retirement of one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, Georges St-Pierre. One of the most popular and successful MMA fighters of all time will announce his retirement Thursday at a 10:30 a.m. press conference in Montreal, Canada. News first reported by the RDS in Canada, verified by ESPN. The 37-year-old St. Pierre last competed November 2017 after 4 years out of the sport, defeating Michael Bisping by third-round submission to win the UFC Middleweight Championship. Vacated the belt after a month after he revealed he was suffering from colitis and did not want to hold up the division. His name had been brought up repeatedly over the last year plus for potential fights with Conor McGregor, Anderson Silva, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. But UFC President Dana White continually shot down the notion of GSP returning. Ariel Helwani tweeted that when efforts in making a Nurmagomedov fight fell through, the decision to retire was made. So we'll follow that up. Big news there, the retirement of Georges St-Pierre. Hadn't fought in a long time, only one fight in the last 4 years, but still one of the greatest fighters ever. People still talking about potential fights for him. Looks like not going to happen. We have more wrestlers requesting their release from WWE. We have AEW announcing another over-budget battle royal for their next show. Big 205 Live announcement that we talked about yesterday was the announcement they're going to be doing a tournament where the winner will face Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title at WrestleMania 35. We have Smackdown notes. A lot of stuff happened on Smackdown, including the announcement that the challenger for Daniel Bryan at Fastlane will in fact be Kofi Kingston, as we talked about yesterday, and much, much more. If you want to give us a call here today, the phone lines are open, 844-411-5411. Text messages 425-780-7566. Mike Sempervive joins us after the break, and we'll kick it off. Wrestling Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. If you want to give us a call today, 844-411-5411 is the phone number, toll free, 844-411-5411. You can send your text messages to 425-780-7566. Whatever's on your mind. I want to start off today. I don't know this for sure. I haven't got confirmation from WWE. But it does appear that Tommaso Ciampa's knee is okay. And if you watched SmackDown last night, he went for a sunset flip powerbomb, and Sheamus fell on his leg. And his knee, twisted underneath him. It looked so brutal. He immediately tagged out and laid on the floor for a while, and I thought, this dude's done. And they did a near fall, and who should fly in out of nowhere to break it up but Tommaso Ciampa? And he continued the match, and he walked out, and it looks like he's okay. But that was brutal. So I guess if we find out that he's not okay, you'll know what spot that happened on, but it looks like his knee is okay. So that's one lucky dude right there. What did you think of SmackDown last night, Mike?
I thought it was pretty good. We got the happy ending, and we've got a new round, and a lot of people who are very reinvigorated, and I don't blame them if they are Kofi Kingston supporters, but they are jacked up again, and I believe they're hoping he wins at Fastlane. If nothing else, they're hoping, no matter what happens at Fastlane, he gets the title shot at WrestleMania.
You know, this WrestleMania card, we don't know what it is yet, but I watched that show last night, and this is where I think they're going with everything, all right? This is my prediction for the WrestleMania, some of the WrestleMania matches coming off last night. So it's very clear Asuka has returned from the shadows, and her opponent at Fastlane is going to be Mandy Rose. And then her opponent at WrestleMania appears to be Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans. God bless Lacey Evans. Got a great story. She is absolutely not ready for this position, but I guess in Vince's mind, it doesn't matter how well you can wrestle. What's more important is your character and your personality and how we can market you. And he figures that they can do that with Lacey Evans. That appears to be where they're going there. Obviously, WrestleMania is a three-way with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. We know that one. I believe with every ounce of my being, I could be wrong, that it is going to be Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston at Fastlane, and Big E is going to turn on Kofi Kingston. I watched the show last night. Kofi's talking about how much he loves his brothers. He's getting yet another opportunity. These guys are just hanging out in the background throwing pancakes. I think it's inevitable. Big E, Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. As far as Daniel Bryan, not sure who they're going to put him with. Dave talked about it the other day. Probably going to be a returning talent to the company. Who that's going to be, I don't know. Could be Bray Wyatt. Could be Batista. Could be... Who else is returning? I don't know. But anyway, that's where I think that's going. And I also believe that at the Fastlane show, in Miz's hometown, him and Shane with their rematch against the Usos for the tag team titles, I believe with every ounce of my being that Shane McMahon is turning on The Miz and not vice versa. Everybody thinks it's going to be The Miz. I think Shane's going to screw the guy. Shane got screwed. Miz admitted on the show last night that he was using Shane McMahon there at the beginning. So I think that Shane's going to turn on the guy in his hometown, probably beat the hell out of his dad. I sure hope not, because Shane could kill the guy. But I think that that's where they're going. That's my prediction for the next few matches at Mania.
Oh, boy, set up a summer of heat, I guess. Here's the thing with Daniel Bryan and Big E.
No, the heat goes into Mania, and then the babyfaces get their wins at Mania.
No, but if Shane's going to be a bad guy, though, do you see him going anywhere? Or do you see him disappearing after WrestleMania?
Nah, he could be a heel GM.
That's what
God knows they need a heel GM.
Yeah,
can't go without one.
Of course. With Big E and Daniel Bryan, who's the babyface then? I know it doesn't matter in WWE land.
With who? Big E and Daniel Bryan?
Yes.
What is
Isn't
Big
that
E
your
and...
match at WrestleMania?
No, Big E and
or
Kofi.
And Big E. So who's your WrestleMania title match for Daniel Bryan then?
I just said it's going to be someone returning, but I don't know who it's going to be. It could be anybody.
Okay. Oh, that was the Batista thing. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't see a turn coming from Big E, and you are rock solid on that. You are feeling yourself on
rock
that
solid.
So
you hear me? And this person here goes, what do you do with Xavier? Or as he likes to call himself, Xavier. Well, the answer is he's going to team with Kofi. They're going to be a tag team because they're going to go with Kofi through Fastlane, but I don't picture them elevating him to a regular main roster, main event singles. I could be wrong.
The top six?
I'd be happy with it. I'd be happy if he was in the top six. But I think that they're going to give him his push here, and then they're very tag team heavy right now, and so I think they're going to go back with Xavier and Kofi's a tag team, and Big E will be the guy that gets a singles push because he's big. He's Big E.
I'd be fine with both of those scenarios happening. I'm not exactly sold on it. I tolerate it though because Kofi and Xavier as a team would be good. But there is also a thing with like Xavier being that guy because he is so good on the microphone and he could be so good at being a jerk. He was at times because he could be so stinging with his promos. I don't know if I necessarily want to turn him babyface. Making him a heel alongside Big E and Big E's cushion and protection and being a guy who can cause problems. Because if you're going to turn Big E, you might as well push him and go really hard with him. So use everything at your disposal, including somebody to help him get some more heat too.
I don't know if this is a troll or if this person really believes this, but this person here says Lacey Evans is 1,000,000 times the wrestler Mandy Rose can ever be. So who would you rather have in the main event in a match against Asuka?
I would assume that's a troll.
I'm not sure. Listen, Mandy Rose is significantly better than Lacey Evans right now. Maybe someday Lacey Evans is going to be awesome, but right now she's very green. She looked terrible in the Royal Rumble. I just watched Mandy Rose Asuka last night, and it wasn't a bad match at all. It was pretty good, actually. So I would prefer to see Mandy Rose versus Asuka at WrestleMania and not see Lacey Evans versus Asuka for a long time. Lacey Evans, God bless her, she needs to be back down in developmental for another year or so, go on all of the road shows. They need to send a good worker like a Mickie James down there to work with her every night on the road, and then a year from now, maybe she will have the potential to come up and be something. But throwing her into the deep end right now, when she's not ready in the ring, is going to do nobody any favors.
And also, too, they haven't really told the story of Macy Estrella yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, like, this whole backstory that would make her marketable and would make people have compassion for her and to make people feel some kind of way about it. They haven't told that story yet. So there's all, I mean, I don't know. If this is just based off of her character of what it's supposed, and we don't, what is her character actually, too? Pinup model, what exactly is her character for the WWE universe, who has not seen her in NXT and really doesn't know exactly who she is?
She's a classy woman
about her that's been set up
who
yet.
Dresses like somebody from the 40s or 50s, who also happens to be a Marine and a Southern Belle.
But they don't even know I guess they've said she's a Marine, but it's like they haven't tied all of those things together to make it count. So I don't know. That doesn't even seem... I'm sorry, that even doesn't seem believable to me. I mean, Mandy Rose has been there, and for whatever you think about her, she's better in the ring. She's had more time in the ring. You know exactly what she is. I don't know. That was crazy to me.
Person says, Bryan, it sounds like you just want to break up the New Day ASAP. Yes. It's been 4.5 years.
I disagree with
They're
that.
doing the exact same thing they've always been doing.
Nah, you fresh coat of paint, like their original name.
What's their fresh coat of paint?
You give them an edge.
A different thing to throw into the crowd?
So why then? Why would you want Kofi in any match at all if nothing matters with these guys as baby faces?
What are you talking about?
This was a step. You could look at this as a step to rebuilding what this team was.
So they go back to doing tag team matches like they've been doing for 4.5 years and throw pancakes at people? I've seen that for 4.5 years.
I'm telling you, without the pancakes.
Well, they're not getting rid of the pancakes. They had them all over the show last night.
Oh, Jesus.
Back in a moment. Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Yes, Mike.
Are the New Day all really talented guys?
Yes.
Okay. Are they reinvigorating the tag team division and seemingly putting more of a mark on that division?
No.
The WWE is not doing that?
Oh, I thought you meant the New Day.
No,
yes, WWE is pushing tag teams more.
Okay. And do you say that people, do you believe that they turn guys too fast and sometimes without reason, even if people don't want to see it?
Yes.
Okay. Other than you, how many people are clamoring to have the New Day broken up?
I don't know. You want me to ask?
You can ask. We'll put that out there.
People have been talking about it for years now.
No, you've been talking about it for years, and I understand that they are in many ways a very stale act. They are also not an act that I believe needs to be broken up when you haven't even tried to tweak them to make them a more serious group. And Kofi, just his presence of being in that match and being Kofi Kingston, obviously got a lot of people all jacked up and happy where they want to see him take the WWE title.
Because he split
either
from the
on
New
or
Day for a
before
few
WrestleMania.
weeks.
You can massage the New Day and do something new with the New Day and give them some of the edge back that they have and take some of the comedy away. And I think that would take care of itself. I don't see the need to break them up just to break them up.
Okay, Mike.
I really don't see how that makes any sense. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead.
If there's no chance they're tweaking this act, do you want to see them do the same exact thing for the fifth year in a row?
To be honest with you, I don't care.
Okay, well,
because here's why. If they're not in the way of the top tier, which they have not been, there have not been New Day hijinks which have ruined anything. They have not ruined the world title picture, any of that sort of stuff. So if they're just going to be a tag team that is making money off merchandise, that makes people happy, that basically jerks the curtain or whatever you think of them, then yeah, I'm actually fine with it continuing. I don't hate them in the way that you do.
I don't hate the New Day, dude.
You hate the act.
I have seen the act do the same thing for 4 years.
Brian,
can I say my part now? Do you know what tweak they've had of late? They went from cereal to pancakes, okay? In 4 years, that's how they tweaked this act. They went from cereal to pancakes. Okay, yeah, maybe they'll go to cake mix next, all right?
Ha 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 ha! That's so funny.
I don't need it. I'm ready to see something different. I think that Big E is
doing something different.
Hey, I think Big E is very talented. Maybe he'd be a great singles guy. You know what we saw over the last month?
He doesn't have to do dirty to be a singles guy.
Kofi Kingston. We saw Kofi Kingston split away from the New Day and go to singles, and it was a big thing to everybody.
He hasn't split from the New Day. He's wrestling in singles matches.
Yes, that's splitting off from the New Day.
And then afterwards, he cut a great promo, and granted, it's on WWE.com, so who knows whether they decide to incorporate it or not, where everybody has mentioned, we've been goofing around for a long time, but this isn't over. We're basically, it's a new day for the New Day.
Okay, well...
So why can't he actually see where some of that goes a little bit?
When Kofi loses at the Fastlane show, and they put him back together as a 3-person unit, and they throw pancakes in the crowd for the next year, next January I'll ask you how you feel about this again. How about that?
No, don't worry. I'll know how I feel, because by January you would have said it over and over again how much you hate this act.
All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? It's Jack from BC.
What's up?
Not a whole lot. I had something about WrestleMania, but I just want to give my 2 cents on the whole New Day thing. I personally think that it's terribly long overdue for them to break up. I actually like them better as individuals. I think they're more entertaining separately. That's kind of how I felt ever since maybe mid-2016 after a solid year of the New Day. But that wasn't what I was going to say. This whole week of Raw and SmackDown has featured the 4 NXT guys, which it's produced some really cool matches, but I'm going to be really mad if not one of these 4 wrestlers is on WrestleMania, because to me, that's going to signify that...
Dude, they'll be at WrestleMania. They may be in a battle royal, but I'm sure that they're all here at least through WrestleMania, and probably afterwards once they do the shakeup.
Yeah, I mean, battle royal is, kind of a way to get everybody on there, but I think that if they were to just bring up these guys and then send them back without putting them in Raw or SmackDown matches, it really would just expose McMahon's total lack of wanting to build WrestleMania, and really just trying to buy time in a way. I don't know. I kind of got that sense, but if they actually bring these guys into Raw and SmackDown from this point on, that'll be a good thing, and hopefully.
Well, what they need to do, I want to thank you very much for the call. They need to send some guys down to NXT. The roster's too bloated right now. They got 9 million people on Raw and SmackDown, and they're not doing anything with half of them. So if you're going to bring up 4 new guys, after bringing up 6 or however, the last time, a couple of months ago, they brought people up, you got to send people down to NXT. And you got to get rid of, apparently, Ty Dillinger, because he wants out. Announced the news in a statement he posted on his Twitter and Instagram on Tuesday night. He said here, "Before rumors begin to spread, let me set things straight ahead of time. This evening, I requested my release from WWE. In the past 5.5 years with them, I have seen and done some wonderful things I am very proud of and will never forget. I have met and have worked with unquestionably some of the greatest talent on this earth, and the pleasure has been all mine. I feel at this time this decision, as extremely difficult as it was, is what is best for myself and WWE. I wish to continue to grow as a performer, offer those paying hard-earned money to watch a show I'm performing on a little more of myself. To the male and female locker rooms, coaches and producers, the production ring crew, all the way up to the very top of WWE and most of the fans, I wish you all the very best. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything." Tuesday, his 38th birthday. He was another guy that had requested to go down to NXT, and apparently they shot him down. So if he can't go to NXT, he wants out. State of WWE today, everybody. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Mike. This is Andrew from Chicago.
Yes.
And I respect your opinion, Brian, and I respect your prediction and all that. But, however, I just want to say this in the nicest way possible. I really, really hope you're dead wrong about me seeing Asuka defend her title at WrestleMania against Lacey Evans, of all people.
Dude, hey, let me say something about this, everybody, okay? Right now, Vince is super high on Lacey Evans. Wants her to be one of the top 3 women in the company. Okay? But how many people remember when Dana Brooke was their chosen one? How many people remember when Lana was their chosen one? They've had many women that they took one look at and went, "Oh man, she's getting the rocket all the way to the top. And they tried, and they realized this ain't working, and they gave up on it. So I still think we're going to see Lacey and Asuka in Mania, unless they give up on her before that. But if she's not ready, like I don't think everyone needs to panic right now. Vince was rewriting Raw while Raw was on the air. This guy's Vince.
Doesn't mean he won't do a dumb thing on a big stage when he's got a blonde ambition.
Let's not panic too much about it yet. I mean, you could panic, don't get me wrong, but nothing's forever with Vince.
All right. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
All right, thanks so much for the call.
Depressed him.
Did you guys watch Asuka and Lacey Evans' segment last night? Dear God Almighty. And this guy's sitting here telling me that Lacey is 1,000 times the worker that Dana Brooke is.
No.
Or not Dana Brooke. Mandy. I mean, Dana Brooke is better than Lacey at this point.
Mandy's ring entrance is better than anything that Lacey's done or can do, or her hats.
All right, to the phones. You're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your main man, Rudo, from Atlanta. I just want to ask you guys a question, though. Because of everything that happened with the Revival, supposedly asking for their release, and then now Ty Dillinger, at what point does the panic really start to set in for the investors? When do they really start to say, okay, we have a problem?
Rudo, have you ever listened to one of these investors' calls?
Stock price.
I have.
They have no idea what's going on.
No,
they literally have no idea what's going on. Vince, hey, let me tell you something, Rudo. So, not this conference call, okay, but the previous one, all right? Vince McMahon said, our house shows are not doing well. But I know what the problem is, and I'm going to turn it around. I know what the problem is, and I'm going to turn it around, okay? So in the subsequent 3 months, nothing changed for the better. House shows were as bad or worse than before. We go to the next investor call. The very first question should have been, Vince, I thought you knew what the problem was, and you were going to turn this around. Do you think anybody on that call asked that question? Nobody. They have no idea what's going on. So, no, there's not going to be panic.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but here's the thing. Because you have to have something as big as, the Saudi Arabia event for investors to really start seeing, okay, there's a correlation between what's happening and what Vince is saying. So at this point, they're still like, hey, Vince has made all of this money for the company. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, at what point do you think that might turn into an event big enough for them to care?
Well, I mean, you got to look at it this way. Let's say they botch everything at Fastlane. They botch everything at WrestleMania. They botch everything through the summer. They botch everything at SummerSlam. In October, their new deals kick in, and they're going to make more money than they've ever made by a wide margin. So you know what the investors are going to look at? They're not going to look at botching everything all year. They're going to look at all that money. They're going to go, oh, man, this guy's a genius. That's just what they do. They're looking at the bottom line. Thank you very much for the call, Rudo. I wish things would change, dude. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. If you want to call us here today, 844-411-5411. Toll free, 844-411-5411. Text messages, 425-780-7566. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Where did he go? Twice now during the break, I told someone to hold on and they hung up. I don't know why this is difficult. If I say hold on, just hold on. Caller, hold on. I'm going to actually do something here. I'm going to test to see if you can hold on. Got it? All right. Episode 4 of AEW's Road to Double or Nothing was uploaded yesterday. Announced the over-budget Battle Royal is returning for Double or Nothing. With Sonny Kiss, UK wrestler Kip Sabian, Brandon Cutler being spotlighted as 3 of the entrants into the match. Wonder if Ty Dillinger will end up in there. Or if he'll even be released. We'll see. Announced an 8-man tournament for 205 Live. Winner faces Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title at WrestleMania 35. That was the big NXT announcement we talked about yesterday. There is the big 205 Live. There's a big NXT announcement that will be made on NXT tonight. I'm praying it is that WWE stars will be moving down to NXT to make up for the guys moving up. They got to make some changes tonight, apparently, with all these guys being called up at the last minute. So we shall see what they do.
And don't forget, we got that post-Mania shakeup, too, which could land NXT a bunch of new talent and see some of their current talent move around.
All right, caller, we're going to try this. You're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Mike. It's John from Arkansas.
You did it right.
I actually stayed through and listened to my cue.
Yes, what's up?
Well, after hearing this Lacey Evans thing, my head nearly exploded from the standpoint of the fact she's just not ready. And then there are people who want to say, let it play out. Let things happen. I'm sorry. It's not going to play out good if you let it play out. She does not need to be featured in the situation she's in until she is vastly more polished than what she is. I know she has a lovely backstory and blah, blah, blah. I know that's part of the reason why she's up there. From the standpoint of it looks good in a PR standpoint to say, look, we have this former decorated Marine on our roster. Yes, wonderful. Hooray. But get her polished before you bring her up there. And also, do not advance her at the expense of a talented individual such as Asuka. That infuriates me. I hate seeing talented people being buried in that sense.
You watch New Japan then, my friend. Hey, listen, I'll play devil's advocate here, everybody. If there's anybody that can carry Lacey Evans to a decent match, it's probably Asuka. So there you go.
That's a absolute fact. But you know who else could be doing that? The Pirate Princesses down in NXT, and many of the other women in NXT who have worked in Shimmer, or not Shimmer, who have worked over in Japan for Stardom, and they've wrestled like 15 and 16 and 17-year-old girls. So I think with enough time, if you give Lacey Evans over to those people and let them do it down in NXT, by the time you brought her up, she probably or may actually be very good. You never know, because she seems to be a really, really good athlete, and she seems to be very dedicated and determined. So I just, you have a bunch of blonde women. You have a bunch of people that you could have called up. You have a bunch of people that are already called up that you're not sure what to do with. Why they're doing this to her is just, it's too bad. It's too bad for themselves. It's too bad for her, because odds are it's not going to work. And if you take a look at it right now, who do you think she'll be? Charlotte or Dana Brooke? Right now, it's really leaning far, far towards Dana Brooke.
To the phones, you're on the air. What's up?
Oh, I'm on the phone?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's going on?
Did not expect that. Anyway,
what'd you expect when you called?
The broadcast. Oh, well, I'm just joining the broadcast, and I just have a quick question. You know, I was doing some research about Kofi and the whole situation with them supposedly going with a returning legend for WrestleMania.
Yes.
Now, I'm wondering, one of the names that came up was Batista. I'm wondering if, like, history is literally going to repeat itself with, like, the whole Batista thing, because people really seem to want Kofi.
Well, yeah, it's possible. But, I mean, they're going to get Kofi at Fastlane, and that's another reason I figure there's going to be a turn. They've got to do something to divert Kofi away from Daniel Bryan, and his team turning on him is something that can do that. Otherwise, what? Daniel Bryan beats him, and he's still a singles guy, and you expect people not to want him to get the match at WrestleMania? I mean, they still may, but you got to do something to divert him. As Lance said, you got to close the door on this story.
The legend can be Kofi back with his SOS theme music.
To the phones, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Alistair from your favorite country, Brian, Wales.
Yes.
Shout out to Joe Calzaghe.
I just wanted to call and ask a little bit about this announcement on NXT tonight. And I was wondering, Brian, if you thought that there was any chance of it maybe being the announcement of a TV deal, potentially. I know that Smackdown's going to Fox.
No.
And no, you don't think so? Maybe
No.
not even like FS1?
No. But no talk of that. I mean, it's and that wouldn't be something they announce on TV. They'd announce that through, like, Sports Illustrated or something. So there's been no talk of a television deal for NXT, so I would not expect that tonight.
What do you think it would be?
I don't know. I mean, when they announced there was an NXT and there was a 205 Live announcement, I mean, I figured they'd be bigger. 205 Live is just a tournament for a championship match. That's not something big. I mean, I'm hoping it's an announcement that WWE guys are going to NXT, but Ty Dillinger asked to go to NXT and they shot him down. Now he wants to quit. So as of Monday, apparently, or Tuesday, it was not the WWE guys are going down to NXT. I don't know what it is. We'll find out tonight. Could be much ado about nothing.
You think they threw out? You could do some Evolve stuff like the Street Profits are doing, and he turned that down, or do you think that didn't even come up at all? If he asked,
sounds like
release,
nothing.
He said no.
Sounds like nothing came up for him.
Because they could. Well, I don't know if that helps the guys or not, but they could, in theory, do that.
All right, phone lines are shut down, everybody, because we got 1 million text messages here. Literally 1 million. So let's get going. Kofi thing, while I'm happy, makes me skeptical because this is not the first time this has happened. Remember when Santino almost won the Chamber and the crowd went crazy for that? Yes, I do remember that.
He almost won the Royal Rumble, too.
Person says, is Lacey Evans the Jay White of the women's division? People don't think she is ready, but management does. This ain't even close.
What?
Jay White's an incredibly talented worker.
No, this is a Vince WWF/E thing over the years. That's all this is.
Person says, New Day has said on multiple occasions they will fight to not be split up, and even said they would quit if they were forced to. Well, we may find out if they're going to quit. This person says, do you feel like in the last week Kofi has made the title feel more valuable than it has in ages? I don't know if I'd say that.
I don't think so.
I mean, that's Daniel Bryan as champion.
Yeah, that's not demeaning Kofi at all. That's Daniel Bryan coming off the heels of AJ Styles, who had some rough goes of it with like Shinsuke with the whole, crotch shot thing and things like that. But, I mean, for the most part, their world titles, they've kept pretty good decorum with them. Well, maybe not with Jinder Mahal, but pretty much with everybody else after that on both sides.
Per says, could the announcement be an NXT title match at Mania? Yes, it could. Absolutely could be that. This person says, NXT announcement is Eric Bugenhagen is going to face Brock at Fastlane. That's not going to be the announcement.
Bugenhagen's getting fast-tracked to face Elias, aren't they?
Right now. God, I hope not.
JT Southern
Elias
and
did a hell of a lot for poor Aleister Black on Monday.
Ooh.
This person here says, Dana Brooke was not a chosen one. She was Charlotte's supportive punching bag. Lana was also never chosen. What are you talking about?
How about
they had
Carmella?
Huge plans for Dana Brooke and Lana, and neither of them panned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never saw it on TV because it didn't pan out, but that was the idea. They were going to go all the way with Dana, they were going to go all the way with Lana. Both of them didn't happen. So it says, what do you think about Vince and Shane versus Miz and Miz's dad at Mania? I don't think you're going to see Vince in the ring at Mania.
No.
Especially not in that match.
I'll take it at Access at a press conference, but that's about it.
This person, Asuka versus Naomi is the best choice for Mania. They used to be a team. If they had teamed up for the Chamber, it could be setting up a good story. Yeah? That's not going to happen. Well, it could happen. Anything can happen. Between now and Mania, that match could change 50 times.
Shayna
tomorrow
could come up and challenge her.
And 1,000 times before the deal. Brian, do you dislike pancakes? Yes, I hate pancakes. That's beside the point. Because, as somebody else noted, I was wrong in my timeline. It was cereal, then ice cream, then pancakes. Guess who loves ice cream? Myself. That does not mean I want to keep the New Day together, just because I love ice cream. What do you think about Xavier? He's just in a shark cage hanging over the ring with the trombone. Xavier is extraordinarily talented. A lot of people, there's so many people that rave about how good Xavier is. And he's out there just doing tag matches or playing a trombone on the apron.
God.
This person here says, to me, GSP, the greatest fighter of all time. One fluke loss, one loss to a legend. He cleaned out his division, was so dominant, he helped elevate the UFC. Yeah, he's an all-time Hall of Fame great, George St. Pierre.
I'm so old. I remember when he got the title shot again after Karo Parisian got hurt, and I always wondered, when is Karo Parisian going to get his shot? Because Parisian actually looked really good against St. Pierre, and then their paths went completely distinctly different. And obviously, George St. Pierre won and did a hell of a job with it. Unbelievably charismatic, especially in person, like sneaky charismatic. Just was one of the, talk about a group of guys, the right guys at the right time, and he was certainly one of them. And for any fallbacks or negativities people have about he had boring fights and this and that and all, George St. Pierre was great for the sport. He's an all-time living legend, and him being able to come back and do what he did with the Bisping, I know people drove people nuts and it probably drove Dana White nuts, but I thought that was a great way for him to go out, considering the loss to Hendricks, not the loss to Hendricks, but the way the fight went with Hendricks and all the bad feelings that went along with that.
Bert says, Sanity should threaten to quit to get pushed. Hold on a second, everybody. You can't get a push by threatening to quit. I mean, you can try.
I have.
You can try. But the deal is, the Usos' contract is about to expire. So they actually have leverage. If you're in the middle of a 5-year deal, you can threaten to quit all you want. It's not going to do you a bit of good. The Revival's contract, I believe, is up in like early 2020 or something like that. So they have about a year left. So their complaining got them something. But I mean, they could just as easily have been iced. You only have leverage if your deal is about to be up. Daniel Bryan had some leverage because his deal was up in September. He thought. Then he found out his deal wasn't up until like 2020 or something like that. And so it was like, may as well just re-sign. But if you're under like a 3-year contract, I mean, threatening to quit is going to do you zero good. Person thinks, I honestly think that Mandy is too hot to face Asuka at Fastlane. She needs the WrestleMania spot. Don't know what to tell you. The announcement this person says is that AEW has officially bought The Observer. Get out of here. If I get a tweet like that from you again or a text, I'm going to block you. Stupid. Could the announcement be... yes, the NXT Championship. We mentioned that. And this person here says, I would like to see the NXT announcement be that NXT will be a third brand, and talent between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT will be appearing on all 3 shows going forward. They can still use NXT for developmental for new talent they're creating. It's really been goofy, guys like Ricochet, Cole, Black, Gargano, Ciampa being sent to developmental. Well, again, the idea is not that it's developmental. And the problem is if you do that, you just totally screw up your NXT television, like they did on Monday. Now they got to rewrite everything on television for tonight. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Well, let's go over some of these New Day texts. I always thought they needed to break up the New Day and push Xavier. He's charismatic, connected to the geek culture, and has a doctorate. I also think it would say a lot to have an African-American as champion. They've had many African-Americans as champions.
Many?
This person says, please break up...
Many as world champion?
Yeah, they've had Rock. I have to go back.
Uh-huh.
Please break up the New Day. Doesn't matter what makeover they use, I will still not take them seriously. This person here says, I agree with Sempervive on the New Day. Except they spelled your name wrong.
Well,
break up the New Day. They've peaked and are tired. Can only go downhill from here. This person here says, I would rather Asuka face Sonya at WrestleMania. Feel it would be a great match with a mix of both brawling and ground game. Don't hold your breath, baby.
And she was up to way too early, too.
The person says, why does New Day have to break up with someone turning on someone else? Why not just let them have an amicable breakup? Would be better than the cliche angry breakup. For once, they actually have a story where there would be legit jealousy, and this is the one you don't want them... The Usos randomly turned heel last night. Did I mention that, by the way? The Usos came out last night and were total heels. No turn. They were just heels last night.
They were jerks the week before to Shane and Miz, so...
They were real jerks last night.
Oh.
This person says, too bad we don't still have the VOD villains. Lacey Evans would fit right in, chronologically. Yeah, actually she would. All right, we're out of time, everybody. Back here with more. Later on today, Filthy Tom Lawler will be reviewing Smackdown. And later tonight, Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio. Tomorrow, back with Observer Live. All sorts of great stuff on the front page of WrestlingObserver.com. Head over there and check it out, everybody. And that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.